So as you guys can see right here, this is the Vietnam-Laos border right here. We are currently still on the Vietnam side right here, but just in a few minutes, we will be crossing by foot going into Laos. So this is gonna be, I guess, technically the hardest step because we will be on our own. The visa agency, I think, is not allowed to do this, but it's very simple. I was told by everybody it's a very simple process. The hardest part is basically going to be going over here and waiting the 3 or 4 hours till our visas are done. So just stick around and I'll show you exactly how to do it. The one big question everyone asks me is, what's the biggest issue you face when traveling in Vietnam? After thinking long and hard about it, I would probably say dealing with leaving the country every 90 days is probably the biggest inconvenience. So currently, as the law stands in Vietnam, an American citizen can stay up to 90 days before having to exit the country. So in this video, you'll see exactly what I do after my 90-day visa is up and being able to return the same day. Currently, you have two options if you wanted to return after your 90-day e-visa expires. The first option being taking a flight out of Vietnam. Bangkok will probably be your quickest and cheapest option if you choose to fly, which last time I did it was right around $130 for a round trip ticket to Bangkok. Now be aware that the issue will be, if you choose the flight option, is that you'll have to apply for a new e-visa once you get to the new country. This process takes roughly 3 to 5 business days until a new e-visa will be approved. If time is not an issue and you don't mind taking a little trip and exploring a country like Thailand or Malaysia or even the Philippines, by all means, this is a viable option. But the second option is the option I'm going to show you today, and that's how to get a brand new e-visa all in one day. And that option is to take a bus from Vietnam to the Laos border. Now here's the downside to taking the bus. You have to get up early, very early in the morning to catch the bus. As you can tell, it's very dark outside and I'm not a morning person. This was about 3:30 in the morning and I had to get to Linh Visa Immigration Office by 4 a.m. to catch the bus to Laos. You guys can see I wasn't the only early bird. There was already a few people waiting at the office for the bus. And as the bus arrived, it's very similar to a nice luxury party bus from the outside. I was actually kind of surprised of how nice this bus was. This was the first time I did a bus border run. The seats were fully reclining with plenty of leg room. They had outlets to plug in your device or charge your phone. Believe it or not, the chairs actually had a massage feature. So you can actually get a massage the whole bus ride. Isn't that cool? As we departed and began our journey, the director from Linh Visa came around and checked everyone's documents, made sure they were correct. They answered some basic questions. I have to say, Linh Visa service really has it together and they know what they're doing. They are very informative and helpful. They make sure you're clear and understand the process from the beginning to the end. Just in case you're wondering what the price of the Visa bus run is, it's right around $130. But more on the price breakdown a little later in the video. After about an hour or so, we made our first pit stop. And as you can see by the sunrise, it's still pretty early. I would guess it was about 6 a.m. at this point. And we still had a lot more hours to go before reaching the border. I wanted to show you a map of exactly the route that we took. We took off from Da Nang, Vietnam, and made the 155-mile journey to the Laos border. Despite it being only around 150 miles, in Asia, trips usually take longer due to the road conditions and driving through rural areas. But they did tell us to expect about 4 to 5 hours each way. After a few hours on the road, like most road trips, we did make a pit stop and we stopped at this little parking lot with a convenience store and some bathrooms. I actually brought some food and some drinks, so I was covered on that aspect. But I did choose to get out and stretch my legs and check out the nice views and scenery of Vietnam. After about 10 minutes, we all made our way back onto the bus. You could see that the bus can actually hold a lot of people, and it was a decent size. Our bus was actually completely full, and I'm guessing it was about 40 or so people. And we even had a second bus behind us that also was full. So all in all, I probably would estimate 80 to 100 people did the Laos border run that day. We drove and we drove some more. Apparently, when you notice this nice view of the water, people told me that's where we were actually somewhat close to the border of Vietnam and Laos. Everyone piled out of the bus, lined up, and had their documents ready to go. This is actually the first checkpoint where you'll show your documents and make sure you have everything before moving to the next stage of crossing the border into Laos. It's just a little after 8 in the morning. I've been on the bus since 4 a.m. and we are just now arriving to the border, and I guess we're gonna walk across into Laos, and then supposedly everything that I heard is that we have a long waiting time, a few hours probably, before our visas are ready, and then we will get back on the bus. So I'm just gonna show you guys this procedure real quick. Once again, this is our last instructions from the director at Lin Visa. He reminded us of the checkpoints to go to, the motel we should go wait around at while waiting for our Vietnam return visa to be processed. At this point, everyone pretty much knew what to do. The director doesn't actually cross the border with you, but don't worry, the details are clear and simple of exactly what to do. Plus, usually there's people doing this border run with you that have done this process in the past as well. In fact, there was a guy on our bus that actually told me that this was his third visa run in the past year. But just in a few minutes, we will be crossing by foot going into Laos. So this is going to be, I guess, technically the hardest step, because we will be on our own. I mentioned earlier the whole visa run cost you right around $130. That includes the transportation, the Laos and the Vietnam visa. And I actually applied a little late for my visa, which ended up costing me an extra $60 or so because I needed to get a 4-hour rush visa. So if you guys have any questions about the process or the cost, please leave me a message in the comment, as I do try to answer all comments and questions. So we are currently right here waiting for our visas to be finished processing. Supposedly it's supposed to be another 2 hours. So we're up here on this hotel or motel rooftop with a nice little view. This is Laos. This is my first time in this country. So now I'm officially in my 19th country of my life. It's hot, it's very rural. It's a very secluded area. There's not much here. And we're just basically waiting for the okay for our visa. And then we're gonna head back and get back on the bus and do another 5.5-hour bus ride back from Laos to Da Nang. So it seems like we're the biggest group that's out in this little area. Not too many other people here, so we're just gonna kick back. There ain't nothing else to do, so I will catch back up with you when something else pops up, or when we get the visa okay. I think the actual waiting time was a little over an hour, maybe an hour and a half, before we got the email saying our visa was processed and done. So we started to walk back from the motel to the Laos visa office to pick up our new 90-day Vietnam visa. The only thing left now was to walk back across the Laos border back into Vietnam. Overall, I would say the trip was good. It was smooth and actually a little easier than I thought it would be. The visa price for everything included was just right under $200. I'll put the exact amount up on the screen. That includes the bus ride, the visa to Laos, your visa back to Vietnam, and the transportation and everything like that. So I'm just about to wrap this up real quick. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, and I would be really happy if you guys can subscribe to the channel. Every time someone subscribes, it shows this video to more larger audience and more people. So if you guys can please subscribe and help out this channel, I really appreciate it. So once again, thank you very much from Laos and Vietnam, telling you guys once again, thank you and happy travels.